Hey, everybody, welcome back to the NC State Insider Podcast. I'm your host and lead beat writer for NC State on SI, Tucker Sennett, joined here by my assistant beat writer, football expert, as always, Daniel Rios, back for another episode, talking some Wolfpack football players who have made the jump to the NFL. Preseason going on. We got some Wolfpack guys starting. We got some Wolfpack guys battling for some roles. We got some quarterbacks in the mix. We got a few guys to talk about in particular from this past weekend that performed, underperformed, caused some viral social media moments. Um, all sorts of interesting stuff. Dan, before we get started, how are you today?
I'm fantastic. We're talking NFL football. So anytime that happens, I'm usually in a good
What,
mood.
like 3 weeks away from kickoff?
Yeah.
Just
Three
about?
week, 3 weeks from Thursday.
Okay, okay. Any well we're are there
2 weeks actually.
are there any Wolfpack Eagles or Cowboys?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No Wolfpack Eagles or Cowboys, unfortunately.
Would have been would have been fun to talk about. Anyhow, let's talk about where some Wolfpack guys are. We got three performances to talk about today from this weekend. Obviously more than three guys, but you know, these are three of the more high profile players that did get some reps this weekend. Let's start in New York with Russell Wilson and the New York Giants. Dan, what did you see from the veteran gunslinger who's been named the starting quarterback of the G-Men in his second preseason game? He got some reps in that first game. I think he played one drive and maybe the same in this game. Tell us, Dan.
He yeah, he played four total drives, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
Um this past weekend. Only one of them led to a score. And I mean, you probably have seen it on your social media. The good old Russ Moonball made an appearance.
Mhm.
It's a thing of beauty still. Even as he gets up there in age, you could say whatever you want about Russell Wilson, whatever
That
he's done.
that ball
That
always looks
that
good.
ball, it'll look good on that deep ball.
Yep.
And Giants fans, let's be honest, they haven't seen a deep ball that beautiful in a couple years.
A couple.
It's been
Been like
it's been a,
five.
it's just
How long
been
ago did Eli retire?
It's like 7 years ago at this point, right? Because I Jones was drafted in 2018, I want to say.
Yeah.
Because that was the year after the Trubisky draft, which was 2017, and that was the whole Mahomes, all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, after the little, memory lane right there.
Mm.
It's been a while for Giants fans.
That's
So,
pretty
you know,
unbelievable that Daniel Jones
yeah,
was there for that long. A
yeah.
Duke quarterback, by the way, folks, just up the road.
Wow, that's you know,
ACC.
look at you.
Yep.
Such an ACC reporter already. It's
Yep.
beautiful.
Yep.
Um, but not outside of that, he finished with 108 yards. That deep ball was 80 yards. So the rest of the drives kind of stalled out. A lot of punts didn't really move the ball. But in full Russ fashion, first question he answered was essentially just how he felt the offense was and how the team was, and he led with I have the quote right here. What's been great is just the team camaraderie. Oh, thanks, Russ. Thank you for that.
Mr. Unlimited.
Uh, he gave all the cliche answers in this presser. But I mean, it was just your typical veteran quarterback. Performance, couple drives. He threw one interception. It was just a little bit of miscommunication with his receiver. He threw it where he thought he was going to be. The receiver was God knows where, and it looked bad on the broadcast, but it wasn't. It's just something little there. I mean, nothing you can't really complain about. Giants didn't start everyone. Malik Neighbors hasn't seen
Yeah,
action.
I was gonna say he hasn't played with the full complement of weapons yet, right?
No, yeah. Neighbors' injuries are weird. They've been kind of weird about it. They haven't said what it is. Neighbors hasn't really gone into it, so that's, for your fantasy needs. If any of you, have everyone plays fantasy, but be a little bit of scared of Neighbors right now and his health. They say it's fine, but I don't know. That's what I've been saying. Oh, well, actually, Stafford did just play it or practice today, so I was going to use that example, but seems like he's fine.
He's
But
back. He's back. Um,
yeah, so he hasn't played with his full offense yet.
Okay, interesting, interesting. Well, that'll be something to monitor throughout the season. Whether Russ, we still got Dan's bet for, or not his bet, sorry, his prediction. I believe. Let me go through my notes here.
I remember it. Don't worry. 9 games. I said he'd start.
9 games.
Pretty sure I said
Uh,
9.
yes, Dan said 9 games. So something to monitor as we move on through the season.
Yeah.
Our second player, also a quarterback from the Wolfpack, had a very solid outing in the desert. Jacoby Brissett. Now, Brissett is not competing for a starting role with Kyler Murray in place there for the Cardinals, but he is a significant upgrade at backup quarterback for that team, which, Murray has been known to deal with injuries here and there. He misses games from time to time. They felt that they needed to make an upgrade there, and so far the returns are looking good, Dan.
Yeah, he had a pretty solid outing. It's your typical, all these preseason outings for these guys, it's gonna be like 40 snaps. They're gonna, throw their simple little check downs. But I mean, he actually had a pretty nice pass.
For
He
a
threw one
touchdown.
for a touchdown. It was right over the middle, between two safeties, between two defenders. So, his final stat line was 6 for 8 for 57 yards, and that touchdown. So, pretty solid outing. I don't Denver, I don't think was starting their starting defense in that game. Um, but I mean, it's still Denver. They always got, a good defense in,
They have
most of our
guys. They have
they
guys.
have guys. But in terms of, like you mentioned, Brissett upgrading that room is, in our time in ASU, I was able to cover his opening press conference with the team, and he just talked about how excited he was to finally, kind of be here in Arizona. He likes their offensive coordinator. He likes, all those things. And, it's an interesting part of, he can help Kyler, maybe take another step in his game. Brissett's been a journeyman. He's seen a lot. And it's always nice to get another mind in that quarterback room. So, yeah, but he's your typical journeyman quarterback, and he knows how to play. He certainly knows how to play. So,
A guy who has been pretty good about not turning the ball over the his years. Didn't he have that super long games without an interception
it
streak?
was, yeah, he had a long streak.
Yeah.
But that was kind of one of his main, critiques. A lot of people is he just doesn't really push the ball down the field. He's more of a
No, no.
safe backup.
Which you kind of want when you have a guy like Kyler who is making some dazzling plays, but also sort of makes you put your
Oh
head
yeah.
in your palms
Yeah.
with some of the decision making. But yeah, I mean he looks like he's sort of performing admirably as a backup. It'll be, you know, you don't hope to see him this season because the league is probably a better product when Kyler Murray is playing football, but you never know. Things happen. So keep your eyes out for Jacoby Brissett in Arizona. Our final player that we're going to look at did not have a good day. He is the most recent draft pick out of NC State, Anthony Belton. He was a second round pick. He's playing offensive line with the Green Bay Packers now. It was ugly. Believe he had 5 penalties, 4 in the second quarter. Believe one was a pretty baffling, unsportsmanlike conduct where he like did the blindside scene and just tackled the guy a mile out of bounds. Um, LaFleur blew a gasket. Dan, what else you got on Belton's performance?
Yeah, I think it was 5 total penalties. I think LaFleur after the game, he was upset, but I think he was just mostly upset about that personal foul. The unsportsmanlike, that's just as a coach. Yeah, you get a holding there. Yeah, you're gonna be mad, but the personal fouls, it's fully controllable. Um, but I mean, outside of that, I Belton's had a good preseason besides the penalties. He's been everything that people said about his pre-draft process. He's a huge tackle on the outside. He's gonna move people. He's just a dominant force in the run game, and he's been all of that for the Packers. Week one, against the Jets, I forgot the running back's name, but essentially he sprung open for like a 40-yard touchdown, and it was because of Belton's block why he was even able to, make that play happen. So, Belton's been everything Green Bay's wanted. He's probably not going to play this year, as they have, two starting tackles from a season ago. So, I don't think he plays, but I think so far in camp and everything you've seen, even last week against the Colts, I mean, there are plays where you see him driving his player um, 4 yards off the ball, and he's just, making lanes for running backs, being that lingering presence on the right side. So, um, I think the penalties are concerning, but it's preseason. It's going to happen, especially with rookies. But Belton, outside of that, has, in my opinion, been one of the better rookies along the offensive line so far in, preseason play.
Yeah, yeah. And it sounded like he sort of took it upon himself to improve, which
Yeah.
you don't always see amongst young players. So that's says a lot about your character when you have a day like that and you still come out and you talk to the media and you admit to your mistakes and you take the blame for them because, you obviously could cast that very wide to your teammates and such, especially he had a couple procedural penalties and sometimes the guy that commits those is not actually the guy who's to blame for the penalties. Belton, I think will turn things around. And I have a feeling, given the churn of offensive linemen in the NFL, he's a guy that probably will get some reps in 2025.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely depends what happens in Green Bay. Um, I know Walker is on his last year of his contract. He plays left for them. Then I'm pretty sure Zach Tom is their starting right tackle. So
Hmm.
I assume one of those guys probably misses a game and he'll maybe step in. So
There you go. There you go. Well, very interesting. Dan, did you see any other NC State players this weekend that caught your eye?
no, I think we kind of hit it on the nose. I
Okay.
think a
Okay.
couple of defensive
Well,
linemen played,
here's
but
a quick sidebar that neither of us remembered to cover with our written content, but
oh
we did
God.
see not a former NC State football player, but a future NC State football player play some high school ball for Buford High School. And that was when
It was
Friday,
last Friday, I want to say. I think it was Friday.
something like that.
Pretty sure it was Friday. Could be wrong.
Uh, I'm looking back through my notes because I kind of forgot what the kid's name was. But that stadium was unbelievable. It's
High
like a
school, man.
something. Dylan McCoy, running back for Buford
Yes.
High School in Georgia. Um, he when I was watching, caught a couple passes. Believe he is a 4-star. Hang on, I'll get you some details.
I get those details eventually. These are the details you need.
Yep. He is a hard commit, a 3-star recruit. He's the 80th running back in the country in the class of 2026. So he'll be with the Wolfpack next year. Another guy in the stable. But he looked good in the couple plays that I saw him get reps. Really, really strong kid, 5'11", 185. Big boy.
That's
And Dan and I texted each other because we both had the game on for a little bit, and we both said these are not high schoolers.
yeah. Those didn't look like the high schoolers I remember playing football
No,
with. Let me tell you, those.
no, those were not high school.
Uh, yeah.
It was crazy, but high school football's back. I'm gonna do my best to mix in a little coverage there because there are some kids locally that are in the running to play for the Wolfpack. We'll see what happens there. And then obviously there's a 2027 commit that has a lot of people excited. Christian Freeman, he's over here in Raleigh playing high school ball. I believe his debut is on Friday. So could be there. We'll see. We'll see how my schedule pans out. But that's all we got today for the NC State Insider Podcast. I'm your host, Tucker Sennett. Feel free to follow my X account at Sennett Tucker, as well as the website's account at Wolfpack on SI. And follow Dan as well for all of his content, which is equally fantastic, at Dan's account, which is at Daniel_Rios 72.
That's good job. I'm so proud of you.
Got it today. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll see you next time.